it's so great to see you guys. Thanks for watching. Can I ask you for a favor, if you don't mind? Can you write down, I feel terrific today in the comment section below? Help me engage with you. I want to connect with you. I want to authentically know how you're doing. And also, if you have any questions that maybe I can answer for you in a video, I would love to do that for you. So don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share and tell all of your friends about the connections that you're making. And I will see ya on the flip side. Hey guys, it is so great to see you. Welcome to the portal with Terrie Huberman. Here are my guests for this episode. Yeah. I like they don't even, that's how much they trust me. They're like, yeah, we'll just show up. We don't know what it's called, but hey.
We love her.
Oh, yes. Thank you guys. Thank you. Well, let me introduce you to everybody because you guys are freaking awesome and your energy is amazing and I want people to know about you. So I want to introduce to all you people out there, whoever is listening or watching, these are the love gurus. This is Isla and Jonathan. Hello. And they're freaking amazing. So let me just tell you just a quick little bit about them and then I'm going to hand it over to them so that they can give you more information. But this is a couple who is not only aligned with each other, but they are aligned with other people and their energy. And they focus a lot, it's not everything, but they focus a lot on creative energy and sexual energy, which is oftentimes the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I met them, I actually found out about them through a meetup because I was dating someone at the time and they were offering this awesome goddess workshop. And I'm like, I can be a goddess? Like
you came to my first goddess workshop I ever did.
That was the first one and it was great.
You were premier VIP member.
You sure know how to speak to a Leo, don't you? Well, I learned so much. I really did. And I really appreciated it. And I definitely put in my mental bank. I love these people. And I want to work with them again in the future. So that's why I want to show them to you guys. I want them to talk about themselves. We're going to have a really great discussion because it's so, this energy is so important to harness. And it's so important for everybody to just kind of like understand that they're not at the chaos and the whim of life, that they have more control. So I am proud to present here on the portal with Terrie Huberman, the Love Gurus. Yay! Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, what's
we love
new?
You as well. We love all your readings and all your jokes and your funny memes. And
every time I see it,
killing it.
Every time I see a funny spiritual meme, I think of you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. I actually, there's a few amount of people that I follow that are specifically for spiritual humor. One of them is the country clairvoyant, which I interviewed. So I'm really excited to get him and showing all of you guys him. But I repost a lot of his stuff because humor is it's such an important energy to just to kind of like deal with, like, you know, whatever's going on around us. It's like, how do we kind of tap into whatever, which I know you guys are going to share, you know, your angle and your point of view. But, you know, I wish I could come up. I think these things, but I have no idea how to actually put it in a meme. So I'm so grateful to these spiritual humorists that can do it for me. Like, the world needs to see this.
It's pretty fun.
It's profound too.
Yeah.
Like some of the things they put, you're just like, wow.
Yeah,
it's so simple and it just hits right at home. It's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish my mind worked like that sometimes.
I wish mine did
to be a funny person like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, everybody has their shtick, okay? So everybody does have their thing, and everybody's sense of humor is different, right? So you just never know, which is why you just tend to connect, again, you know, birds of a feather, whatever energetic frequencies you're on. So clearly you guys are sick and twisted like I am. Maybe not publicly. So being love gurus and being really out there and part of, not just an observer, but like participants and teachers and healers What have you been noticing during these really challenging times with the global pandemic and COVID and all this? Like, what's been your experience with your clients, and like, what are some of the things that they're going through, and what can you share with us about that?
I think there's definitely a pattern of couples going one way or the other. Like, really, there's no in between. So people are either coming really close and dealing with stuff, or they are being sort of ripped apart and forced to deal with their stuff. And then we're not seeing anything in the middle. And so we got a lot of people reaching out to us like, I don't know what to do. Like, we're going to break up because I can't change this one thing, or because we just can't get past this thing. And so we're seeing a lot of that.
So a lot of patterns were kind of stirred up because people are at home and having to actually face all of the things that they've never looked at. It's been such a I think beautiful experience to watch, because the people who have been doing that spiritual work consistently are getting the benefit now, and they're seeing it more consistently. And the people who haven't done any work at all, they're like, oh, my life is falling apart. And then they're getting very scared because all of the things that they just didn't look at for a very long time are just resurfacing because they have so much time to think about it.
So are you, just to make sure that I'm understanding correctly, do you think like the breakups, or let me just say this, is it fair to say, or, you know, the breakups are happening if you're not doing your spiritual work, or even if you're doing your spiritual work?
Definitely more if you're not, for sure. Because I think, like, with our clients and with some of the people around that, they've already dove into that deep sort of looking at yourself and looking at what's going on. And so they were already experiencing those feelings when the quarantine happened, when the pandemic happened. And for people that weren't at all, and then all of a sudden it's just shoved in their face, I don't think they necessarily know what to do with it. And some of them are faring okay, but a lot of people are just like anxious, really pent up, and they don't know what to do with themselves.
And I think we have to define what spiritual work is, and it's not something like woo woo, or like,
it's
like
not the woo
tapping in, or it's more of like that going inwards and finding out who you are, and rediscovering those layers of yourself that you've hidden because you've wanted to survive in society. Is more of that internal work of like growth. And that in itself turns very spiritual, because you become connected to yourself, and then to everybody else, and to something bigger than you. The more that you go inwards, the more you realize that we are all connected, and it's all so intertwined that there's no way not to be spiritual.
It can even be, I think, as simple as an attitude too. Like, if you adopt the attitude of, no matter what comes up, I want to work on it, I want to get through it, I want to learn from it, then that is spiritual work in itself. And it doesn't necessarily matter how you go about that, but having that attitude and just continuing to get through that. The people that adopt that attitude, which I guess you could say is flow, or non-resistance, or acceptance, or surrender, any of those like traditional healing kind of words or religious words, it's an attitude.
Well, you know, in full transparency, this pandemic knocked me off my ass too. So even though I am a spiritual person and I've had a dark night of the soul, guess what? Guess who's having another dark night of the soul?
Hey, tell us about it. What's going on?
Oh my God.
I wasn't ready for that. It was about you.
No, I'm a Leo, but this is not about me right now. No, but I think it's happening to even people who have been doing their work too. And it is, I do feel like for me, it is an up level. And I have decided to get some support and, you know, just so that I can level up, because yet again, here's another opportunity or gift for me to connect to myself, which of course, when we connect to ourselves, just like you said, we connect to the divine. So, you know, and I'm hearing you say that this is happening to a lot of couples. Now, I'm not in a couple, I'm just me. And
you're still in a couple, because that's the relationship to yourself is also, it's actually the most important relationship you can have, is that connection with yourself. When you add another person, that's like another layer of like, oh crap.
Yeah, and you know, it's really interesting because there are so many different perspectives going on, because there's even another sort of what I would consider a deeper level, because I live alone, but I don't feel like I'm alone because I have animals. I feel like I live in a zoo. But I have a girlfriend of mine who completely lives alone. She's been quarantined, and then her mindset, she's been, you know, God bless her, a little bit too extreme. So then there's that really alone person. So I'm kind of in the middle, you know, so it's always just really fascinating to hear, you know, like what's going on. But basically I'm hearing you say that like the spiritual work, or the opportunity for this spiritual work, helps with like life going on regardless of what's going on.
Of course.
It is like the more in tune you've become with like doing that work, the easier it is to transition from one thing to the next, because you know, if you know how to deal with yourself in any situation, then you can navigate life, and you recognize that everything is a gift and everything is a lesson. And yeah, this pandemic is such an opportunity to just evolve out of all of our patterns. And especially when you are alone, you're having this opportunity to go inwards because you have no distractions. And even if you're watching Netflix, there's gonna be a point where you're like glazed and you're like, oh, I need to look at myself in the mirror right now. Let me see if I like it.
I don't like it.
If you watch like when people have, let's say, like a car accident or a near-death experience, or they get really sick and they almost die, or like sometimes people do die and they come back, those are like really life-changing opportunities for people to basically have everything stripped away from them and then rebuild. And the pandemic, in a big way, I think has been that for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people that maybe have never experienced having the rug pulled out from under them, especially in that big of a way. So to have that sort of trauma can be a really amazing shock to the system, because it reverberates through your whole system, and then you're like, holy shit, there's something that's not right here. And if people can grab that and work with that and use that energy to become whoever the next iteration of them is that they want to be, that means it's happening on a massive global scale. And maybe some people aren't getting it and they're still tortured by it and whatever, but that's pretty par for the course. But there's a lot of people right now that are investigating inwards and that are making changes. And even yourself, even if you're going through a dark night of the soul, you're launching a podcast and you're building community and you're doing all these really healthy things for yourself, for others, for the community. Like, that's a sign of growth, and you flowing along with it and taking those steps.
Just think about it, like most people, unless something, they'll go through their life pretty comfortably, or what they think is comfortable, but it's actually just familiar. And they won't make any big drastic changes in their life because they're okay. They're pretty, you know, they're just like kind of flowing through life okay, but they're not thriving like they should. They're not following their dreams a lot of the time. They're just like in this monotony of like, I can survive in the world and I'm cool and I have my friends and I'm whatever. But when something big like this happens, that forces you to really evaluate your life, to evaluate everything you've been working on, to see if you're really happy and question those things, it's going to push you to do something. Like this comfortability is no longer acceptable. Like, you're gonna have to move forward in some sort of way.
You have to get out on the leading edge. No matter if that's comfortable or not, it's gonna push you out there, and then you have to figure out, okay, now what does it feel like to take that step into the unknown?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because when I say this, I speak for myself, but I'd like to think I'm not the only person experiencing these things as well. But you know, when change does happen and it's really unpredictable and it's unfamiliar, as someone who's prone to anxiety, I have learned how to regulate and manage it, thank God, but it does accumulate this built up amount of energy. So if you don't do something with it, it just builds and builds and builds. And so, like, for example, what I'm doing is I'm redirecting it in two different ways, but I do feel like, again, because of the way things are, and just being a single person, you know, I'm not out there dating. So I have this like creative, probably more sexual energy. Like, what
There's
do
lots
I
of creative
do with
fire
this?
right
I got a fire right here.
Stand there.
Right here, people. It needs to be put out. But you know, it's you know, so from your perspective, because I know you guys work a lot with energy, like what can this sexual energy do, or how can you use it if you're not necessarily dispersing it or redirecting it, or you know, so that you don't give in or surrender into, you know, what's actually going on, or any bullshit or chaos or any of that.
I can tell you from personal experience, because like, especially when there was like the whole riots going on, and like all of that energy was building up. No matter how much energy work you do, and no matter how much work you've done, you're still going to be affected by the collective. You're still going to be affected by everybody's anxiety around you. So it's so important in those moments to go inwards and like give yourself what your body is asking for. Like, and for me, I really needed to sit down and feel. Like, and this is going to be different for everybody, but for me, I just sat down and I let myself cry. I let myself have all of those emotions move through me. And I know I was on the floor like a mess.
Oh my God, it was awful.
I was like a mess.
Every time there was a helicopter, did you feel the same way? Because I know you guys are not far from me. I went into panic. I went into panic every time I heard a helicopter. So
Which was all day, every day.
We live right next to Hollywood Boulevard, so it's like everybody was like marching up and down the streets, and it was chaos outside. And I was just glued to the floor because I feel energy so strongly, and I was just like, I can't. So he was just, luckily I have him, and he was holding so much space for me. Because I was like, you know what? As a healer, it is my responsibility to feel this energy and help it move through me, and help other people, you know, do that for themselves. So I sat on the floor and I just cried, and I expressed myself, and all of those feelings that felt like we're stuck right here, because like as a collective we've been so silenced, and everything was coming out of me, and I was just crying and talking, and then I spent a week doing like tantric rituals and meditations, and just really moving that energy up and down, because in tantra you're taught that sexual energy, or any emotion really that gets stuck in your body, by expressing it, by feeling it, you're allowing it to leave your body, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling, you allow it to move. You don't hold on to it, because when you hold on to it, you make your body tight, and then it gets stuck. And anytime you make energy stuck in your body, then that flow isn't happening, and it feels terrible.
And that's important for sexual energy specifically. I think a lot of people get tripped up with sexual energy. So always in life, you want your energy to flow out of you. It's always coming in. You can't stop it from coming in, but you also want to let it go, right? And so if you have all that sexual energy coming in, if you're not, you know, birthing a baby, or having, you know, like for the man, like releasing your seed, or like all that stuff, then you need to do something with it. Like, you have to create something. And this is where you can get really powerful with manifesting. And so, okay, right now, I'm not using my sexuality to birth a human. I'm going to use it to birth a creation. And what is that creation? And that can be financial, that can be a business, that can be a movement, that can be a book, it can look like anything. And when you tap into, so basically all of that crazy energy, you can sublimate and use alchemy to transform into a higher energy, and then you express that out into the world. And that's creation, that's constant creation. And then you're becoming like life, because life creates constantly. Life creates, then life destroys, and life creates, and life destroys. And so a lot of these energies, like with the helicopters and with the marches and all that stuff, there's a lot of destruction. And so you allow the destruction in, because it's cleansing out what no longer needs to be there. And then you birth whatever is coming from that. And so it's this constant cycle. And so, you know, different people experience it different ways. I don't think it hit me as much as it hit her, but it definitely inspired me to want to connect with my voice, and want to, I think, find the right words to say when it's the right time to say them, if that makes sense. Because there were so many things I felt in myself that I wanted to speak, and it didn't feel like the right time. It didn't feel like the right platform. It didn't feel like it was going to get heard. And I didn't necessarily know exactly what I wanted to say, which was very eye-opening for me. And so that was my teacher. All of that craziness went inside of me, and now I'm mindful of what I want to birth back out into the world. So the next time that kind of stuff does happen, I'm more prepared. I can help people and help them be more prepared.
Yeah.
Does that answer what you were going for? Like,
you know what? Yes, and so and more, which is really great. It makes me really, like, when I hear you say that, it reminds me of the fact that we actually have more power over ourselves. Well, not necessarily ourselves, because there's no way we're going to be able to control everything. But we have the potential and the possibility to make choices that we're not like victims to or victims of. So
consciously creating instead of being a victim of.
Yeah. So we don't have to be victims to things like that.
You can't change the weather, but you can go inside and put on a jacket.
Right.
Right.
Take an umbrella or
exactly. There's so much that you
change your mindset. It's all about controlling your mind, because like we have so much power that we don't know how to use. Like if you just change the way you're thinking about something, your beliefs about something, it completely transforms the way you move, the way you talk, the way you interact with other people, and the world may be falling apart, but if you have control over yourself, not only are you gonna, like, your life is going to change, but the people around you are going to gravitate toward you because they want to be more like that. They want to be more inspired by that. So it's like that phrase, when you change yourself, you change the world. That's exactly what it is, because your energy is already going outwards and affecting everybody else. Yeah. And you teach people by the way you are, not by telling them what to do. Like children, for example, like parents always tell their children, do this, do that, do this, do that, but the kids are not going to do that because they're looking at you.
They're
and
watching you not do that.
They're like, you're not doing that, Ma. I ain't doing
that. Why would I listen to you? And you're not even happy while you're telling me.
Yeah, of all people.
Sound fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just it's interesting to watch what's happening from more of an observation mode, and there are times, unfortunately, I am participator versus observer, and those are very painful moments for me, admittingly. But watching how people are responding, and then the beautiful part is watching people come, what I call online, with the amount of mass awakenings and the people coming aligned to consciousness. It's like, whoa, which is really interesting. And it just makes it so much more obvious when you see someone working from ego versus soul, which I think is actually a gift.
So good.
You know, because then we can see what's happening when we have a certain mindset, like you were talking about, Isla, or a conscious awareness, where then we just go, okay, well, this is someone I don't really resonate with, and I don't really believe what they're saying, so I don't have to follow that path.
Yeah.
So
I think for me too, this is an interesting place to be in, because I see how much I've evolved personally, and then I've watched a bunch of people come online, and then I caught myself like really practicing and beefing up my tolerance, because I had to remember that once I was that person, and I was new, and I didn't necessarily have all of the things down, and that I still don't, and that maybe someone's looking at me like, oh wow, he's so, bless his heart. You know,
I'm sure I get that all the time too.
And we're always, you know, if you think about it, we're always all of it, right? We're always the newbie, we're always the intermediate, we're always the master. Like we're just constantly changing in and out as our perspectives broaden. So I've really been practicing a lot of tolerance for people that don't necessarily say things, in my opinion, that are of the highest vibration they could be saying, but that they're trying, and that they're inspired, and that they're doing something with this energy that they're having, and it's so beautiful. And it's going to be a little rickety for a while, and people are getting their bearings, and it's like, you know, watching a deer learn how to walk, and it's all like wobbly, and it, you know, it can't really figure it out. But soon we'll all be up and running. And how we can contribute, which is so beautiful, and why we're so happy to do podcasts like yours, is that we can be what the people need at the right time when they come across it, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh wow, I didn't think about things that way. It's so exciting. And we're just becoming a part of that long link of chains that's connecting us all into growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, so part of our business, what we're doing is we do something called bridging, and bridging is really it's bridging your mind and your body, and then it's really connecting you to your body, because your body is this tool, this beautiful tool that will help you navigate through life if you know how to listen to it, if you know how to use it. The problem is it didn't come with a manual, and nobody told you what to do. So, in our sessions, we help people connect to their bodies and really understand the roadmap they have inside, and how to read their antennas when they're saying danger, and when the ones that they've built up to say danger when it's really not danger. So really to deprogram your mind of all of your patterns and all of your beliefs that are not contributing to a healthy lifestyle. And the beautiful thing about this pandemic has been that, like you said, everybody's waking up, and those light bulbs are coming on. They're like, there's something going on that I'm not in control of, and I want to fix it.
Yes.
And it's beautiful because a lot of the people that we've been seeing are so young.
Young? Like what age range?
Like 18,
19, 20, 22.
They're coming in like they're so far ahead than I was when I was that age. I had no idea what to do at that age. And these kids are meditating. These kids are looking at their trauma already. So they're fixing all of those patterns at this age. So imagine the future that this planet has when kids are having all of this stuff solved by the time they're in their early 20s, and then they're going to be able to like build a beautiful future for us.
Thankfully.
Because they're so much more conscious than we were when we were their age.
And if they're getting aligned with their sexual energy, which is creativity, that means they're actually creating things for this world. You know,
and the younger generation definitely has an openness that we haven't seen with. I mean, it doesn't.
Open.
The sexes don't matter. There's no labels. They're just like so much more open and like into whatever. And there seems to be less of a stigma around sex in general for them. I think largely just because of. I mean, this is I think a positive side of technology. They are exposed so much more to so many more ideas that's naturally breeding an openness, whereas someone like me, I grew up in the South, like there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't internet, there was church, and there was like school, and there was
you're not learning this stuff in church.
Exactly, right?
Definitely not.
And so we're seeing in real time these really strong bonds, especially that were on. I mean, sexuality is, I think, was affected the most for the longest time. This really strict sort of stranglehold on people's sexuality is starting
of years worth
starting
of,
to
like,
be broken.
So many years of just like people being subjugated and like just guilted into feeling shame about their bodies, about their sexuality, and having to hide all of that. And it's built such a like low self-esteem when it comes to loving ourselves and feeling good. Like people feel guilty for feeling good. And like they don't talk about it.
It's really interesting because I've been blessed to travel many places in the world, and I am American. I'm first generation American. My mom is from Cuba. My dad is from Israel.
Oh my God, I didn't know you were Cuban.
Yes.
I'm Cuban.
I knew that.
I did not know that. Oh my God, I'm so sister. Yes.
Birds of a feather.
Oh, you know.
I love me some Materva. Materva.
He doesn't know what that is.
Oh, it's delicious.
We'll give you next time we go to Miami. It's like a soda.
Is it like the sugary?
No.
It's sweet though.
What was
he tried
Malta. Oh, he tried Malta.
Oh.
No, this is Materva. Mama likes her stuff sweet. But I mean, the American outlook or the American way or whatever is way more contained than in Europe or any other country, where even though technically we have freedom and freedom of speech and all this stuff, we're so closed. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to say the word vagina now, kids. Oh my God.
Oh, they just shut us down.
This is an 18-year-old and up channel, people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so, you know, I do think that that has stuff to do with it too, you know. So, and that is part of the old ways being broken down as well. And that's one of the things that I'm battling myself. You know, I'm 46 years old. I was raised very traditional. I come from a Jewish family, you know, so it's like very traditional for doing things. So, you know, culture, religion, country, you know, there's a lot to break, you know, and like a lot of even ancestral DNA that needs to be broken. God. It's like, that's a whole other, you know, conversation. But I love what you guys are doing. And I'm so grateful to have met you guys and to be able to collaborate with you and continue to work with you and all the things. So if anybody wants to schedule you guys do private sessions, don't you? Okay, great. So if somebody wants to schedule a session with you or want to see you or need to consult with you or anything like that, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can just go to our website, thelovegurusla.com, and we have like a consultation form all over there. We will get back.
There's a free consultation, so you can get to talk to us for like 30, I don't know, we just really give you the time that you need whenever you call us, and we figure out if that's right fit for you, if the bridging session is right for you. And if you're looking for more of like the sexuality stuff, then you can come to one of our workshops. And then we have 2 goddess workshops. One is more for about the healing the body, healing trauma, healing emotions, anything that's stuck in your body. And then the second one is more about energy orgasm. So it's about learning how to move the energy within your body. So that's like a whole other level. So at first we're connecting to your body, and then we're like transcending the body. And then he does one for men, to teach men about basically getting up to the potential of women in orgasm.
Multiple orgasm and non-ejaculation through sex, which is like both Taoist and Tantric. And we are working right now, actually, in the next 2 to 3 months, we'll be launching online courses. So she'll do a women's, I'll do a men's, and then we're actually building a community as well, which will be super accessible to everybody, and it'll have like guided meditations from us, curated sex playlists, like so you don't have to go find a bunch of weird songs. We already did the work.
I love that.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. So basically
we'll
it's
send
like
you
an
some.
intro.
You can sneak preview them.
It's like it's like a roadmap to consciousness and to your sexuality. So like people who are just starting off have a place to go and like travel, and if you're more advanced, you also have a roadmap in there to keep furthering your practices. And so and like that's the big bulk of things. But if you just want to be in touch with us every day, just connect with us on Instagram at the Love Gurus LA.
Yeah, and we post a lot of consciousness and sexuality on there, and couple stuff too. So if you're in a relationship or you know having a hard time with that, then go through our Instagram. There's so much good stuff in there.
I can't wait to get a boyfriend, and then for us, me and my boyfriend, whoever you are, sir, to work with you. I mean, I had just started dating somebody when I first came across, and I thought it was going to work out. It didn't, blah, 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 whatever. So I'm like, I really want to be able to, you know, do some of that tantric work and all of that stuff. So it's like, but I want to do it with somebody. So I keep saying, okay, come on.
Stoke that fire.
I am going to take you into I am going to take you and make you feel this on your own, because it's so important that you do this by yourself first. Then
no, I get that.
Initiate the man. Like a woman is a sexual initiatrix. So basically, you can initiate him into this tantric sexuality, into the more consciousness aspect of sex, and without having to talk him into it, because you're already like this empowered goddess, and bring him into your power.
I will be actually reaching out to you for that. It's just for me personally, and again, this is my own personal thing. It's very hard for me during this pandemic with the whole mask thing that's why I'm not dating. I need to be able, I can get into someone's energy, but I also need to connect through facial expressions. And if there's a mask, I can't do that. So I'm on pause for right now. I don't like it. And I keep like, Terrie, come on, you're missing out on opportunity. But I can't, it doesn't align with me right now. But it gives me an opportunity to work on myself. So I'm okay with that. But girl, I am coming to you because I want to be able to drop that handkerchief, you know? All right. So Miss Isla, this is the the time where I can give you a reading if you'd like a reading.
Yay.
Yay. So Jonathan, you just sit there, you hang out, you observe, and you confirm. Like, a lot of times it's great when there are partners there, because sometimes whoever I'm reading for, psychic amnesia will come up and they're like, no, no, no. And their partner's like, yes. So, yeah.
I'll give you a nod and a wink.
I'll tell you what, though, the last reading you did for me it was for this year, and everything you said was just so on point. You said
really?
I was going to go through like the most level of like growth that I've ever had, and it was going to get overwhelming, and he was going to have to support me. All of that happened.
All of that. Okay.
All of it happened.
Okay, good. Thanks, guys. I thank them.
On point.
Cool. All right. So Isla, what would your question be? And just remember that the spirit world speaks to me in metaphors, so it may not be exact or literal.
What'd you ask?
Just a question. I mean, it's a quickie. So Isla and I are about to share a quickie with each other. But
I'll watch. It's fine.
What's this next year like for in your business? Let's see.
Okay, so your business for 2021.
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, I'm already getting chills on this. So there is an upgrade. So it doesn't feel like right now that there's a direction, and I don't know why I want to say this, but do you understand that? So you're kind of like, 2021, I have no idea. What does it look like? It almost feels like you feel you need to actually have some sort of structure or know what's going to happen in 2021. You understand this?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel like you're getting stuck in terms of what's actually going to happen, because I feel like there's going to be an up level and an upgrade. And I feel like this feels more like spring, maybe mid to late spring. I feel like there's going to be an explosion of some sort. Now, that could be a literal explosion.
No, do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah.
There is an actual explosion that's going to happen because I'm pregnant. And
I was going to say there's a baby! Trying so hard to like go, you know. But I'm so glad you said it.
Explosion.
I have to like be really like careful about how I present. Oh my God.
A spring baby.
Spring baby.
Another Aries.
Another Aries. That's okay. It's okay. Fire signs are okay. Fire signs are fine.
It's a lot for him.
Yeah, I was going to say
Aries and Aries.
Do you know the sex already? I will not tell you if you don't want to know.
I think it's a girl.
Okay.
But we don't know. I know, and I know.
What were you going to say? Well, now you have to say, you can't say that you knew it and then not say it.
No, I'm not. No. I'm not saying I know for sure. I would say that I predict. I feel masculine energy, but that doesn't mean it's not a girl. It could be a really strong, powerful girl.
Like you.
You're very powerful, but you're also very feminine. You have a really nice balance of energy, but I feel like this one might be more masculine energy. And I feel like that's why he or she is going to give Jonathan a run for the money.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what you're sensing, Jonathan, is like legit. Just so you know. like you're fine.
A strong little fireball.
Yeah. But spunky, very witty, very intelligent, with such a huge kind heart, already programmed for the future. And everything's very healthy. Everything runs very smoothly, Isla. Because what do I feel like, well, obviously, I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, but I feel like there's going to be, you're interested in more of a natural technique. Because it feels like there could be a home birth.
Maybe some dolphins, who knows?
I was going to say,
in the ocean, assisted by dolphins.
I was going to say there could be a tub, like
rainbows,
I have.
Oh, for sure. That's what I
birth.
want. I want a home birth. I want everything to be in my environment and at my own pace, and let my body do the work. And and everything's gonna go just fine. So I mean, if you're not working with a doula, I feel like you should be working with a doula or a midwife or something like that. With your midwife or doula, I almost feel like the first one or even the second one, you're gonna be like, not sure. So it could take a few till you find who you really want. Be really
really clear and specific with what you need and what you want, and you'll bring in the right one. Because it does feel like there might be some wishy-washiness at the beginning, but who you ultimately pick will be the right fit. But I do feel like there might be some frustration a little bit at the beginning. Like, why can't I find the one that I want? It just doesn't feel right. And I love how you're going with your feelings. So all of that is wonderful. I'm seeing lots of balloons. So celebration. There'll definitely be celebration. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Yeah, everything feels good, healthy. Yeah, I love all of that. Is there anything else specific that you...
No, I knew that was going to come out. I'm going to say this is, and the baby's going to be like, hey, I'm
no,
here.
yeah.
What's interesting about that is that that is the only uncertainty. Like, we have so much certainty around building the business for the end of this year into next year. But when baby comes, we have no idea what that's
like, what is... I know,
No idea.
So let me bring this back around. I got distracted with a beautiful baby soul. Yeah. So, okay. So here's what I want to say. I don't know how you feel about this, Isla, because and you know me, I'm just going to be upfront and I'm going to be really honest. It's for the highest intention and for the highest good. But I feel like it would be really great for Jonathan to hold down the fort when it comes to the business aspect, so that you can, okay, so that you can be there for the baby. Okay. Because I feel like the fear of being, first of all, a first-time mom, which is totally normal and totally natural for any mother, you know, and an entrepreneur. Okay. Yes, you're a healer. Yes, you're a teacher, but you're also an entrepreneur. There are, and it's hard for you to see it now, but I feel like, and again, this could be a prediction and I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of the uncertainty is going to make you want to gain some sort of control. So you might be poking your nose into things business-wise. And that's why I'm like, let Jonathan handle it. Not that you shouldn't know what's happening, but let him do so you can be.
I like that.
Okay.
That sounds perfect.
So yay. That's what it feels like. From there, the course and the direction will come. So it is almost like this baby is a deciding factor for the business, which is why you're like, I don't know what to do. But I feel like there's an up level in the business. So, you know, we're talking more like, yeah, you know, there might be even a location or something about you being able to like be in physical proximity with people, like with a group of people or something towards the end of 2021. So if you wanted to, at some point you will be able to, not that you have to, but take things offline and do it more, but that would be probably more local. Offline can be global right now. So it's like an expansion. It feels like an expansion. So there's that opportunity or possibility for that timeline to happen, which is which is really cool.
I like all that.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good. It feels really good. And God damn, I'm excited.
Auntie Terrie.
It's so exciting.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Well, before we sign off here, is there anything that you wanted to share with the lovely people of the world?
Oh, just how much we love you and we appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. And I appreciate
everybody follow her. She's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, like, my ego's
and she's always on point with everything she's saying. So I trust you. And I trust that you're hearing that voice up there, because it's really always such a beautiful guidance system. Like, your voice was a lot in my head this year because of the reading you did last year. So it really did help me get through those points where I was like, oh my God, I knew this was coming. Okay.
No. Well, then you'll help me get into my sexual alignment when the time is right, sister.
For sure.
Yeah,
we got you.
Thank you guys so much. And for everybody else out there watching, thank you so much for supporting not only me, but the Love Gurus and all of my other guests, and joining me here on the portal with Terrie Huberman. And I will have the Love Gurus, I'll have all of their information and contact information, and you'll have my information in case you want to work with me. Everybody, please stay connected. The human brain is wired for connection. When we feel connected, we feel safe in this world. So stay connected, and I'll see ya on the flip side.